Alright, so this video is going to be about something I decided to label pre-bursting. It's basically the act of bursting a boss before they're even spawned in, or while they're spawning. This will make a lot more sense later in the video when I showcase what's going on. But first, let's get into the build and the potentials that I consider necessary. So I believe for this to work, P6 is the absolute minimum, and P7 is the maximum. So if you need another reason to get her P6 or P7, here it is. Like, all three of her kits are insane. P7 Lightning, amazing. P7 Ice, very good. Yeah, one thing to note, if you do have her P7, she starts scaling her burst off of attack. It says 1% of attack, max is 200. What that basically means is you need 20,000 attack in order to reach the maximum value. Without food, I'm already over that limit. With food, I'm about 24,000 attack. So I've already had more than enough. This shouldn't be that hard for you guys to build. But yeah, if you need help reaching that 20k attack, then you would limit break this staff a little bit like I did. We did roll fire burst efficiency on the weapon, of course. The armor, I happen to get burst efficiency on the armor for ice. I'm just going to use this for now, since we don't have an actual burst outfit. All of this gear is useless besides the boots. They give us about 2% kinda. Most important part is the Twisted Thought. I actually have a fire burst earring. This isn't needed. I did it before I got this, but I happened to craft it yesterday, so we're using that, of course. The rest is kind of pointless. You probably want to recraft one of these for more attack on the ring, but also not really needed. Her total burst is around 87%, 55 plus 31. But yeah, let's get into some actual use cases. So it works for anything that has a spawn animation where it's technically invulnerable. So it works on Golem. It works on Dragon, believe it or not. It works on Galland. It would have worked on the spider dungeon if it was here, but maybe in the future when we get that spider raid back, this setup is going to be absolutely insane. So I'm excited to test that out. And if she does end up getting a burst outfit, she's going to be absolutely cracked when it comes to fire burst content. She may even be the best universal burster. We don't even know. I think it would be most clear to showcase this on Gallant first. I did go ahead and eat my fruit meat pie. And all we're going to do is dash up to him, push Q, and then push 2 E's. So that'll apply the fire defense resistance to him. You can see he's building up stacks, and he's already bursted by the time he loads in. So what exactly does that mean for us? Well, I'm just going to go ahead and show you a clip of my best time that I got with Galland. Alright, next up we're going to showcase this on Dragon. So mind you, Dragon's not even weak to fire, but since her taunt skill here decreases their fire burst resistance, so this basically forces their resistance to be neutral. Same sort of thing as Lightning Merlin. It basically makes it so all bosses are not resistant to you and what you're doing. So we're going to do this exact same thing on the dragon. From what I can gather, his hitbox is basically on the floor in front of us while he's flying in and doing all this stuff. So if we just pretend that he's right in front of us and use all of our skills, he will be getting bursted in the air. So let's go ahead and demonstrate that. We're just going to come right here, stand on these pebbles, use all of our skills, and just stand here and wait. You should see him have like a flash of fire around him. And he's bursted already. Then you would just go ahead and kill him as normal. I didn't do any debuffs, so my damage is pretty bad, but you get the idea. So the last thing I could really showcase this on right now is Golem. Unfortunately, there's not much content in the game where stuff isn't already spawned in, but I'll show it off in sectors a bit as well. You can use this as like an alternate strategy for placing your combo ult if your magic generation is pretty poor. But anyway, let's hop into Golem, and you can probably already guess what I'm going to do to him. Now, one flaw of this setup is it makes it extremely hard to apply first strike. So you basically have to forego that in entirety. But the time you save from them just being insta-bursted more than makes up for it. As you can see, once you combine the pre-bursting, all of your debuffs, You end up saving a lot of time. You don't have to generate magic. You don't have to combo ult. You don't have to worry about anything. You get to do damage as soon as possible, so you get to hit them while they're still doing their spawn animations, so this will help a lot with your consistency and runs. Alright, so we're going to take this into the Fire Week sectors, just to kind of showcase how it would play out in here in like a normal scenario. So if they don't have a spawn animation, it's still usable, but it has a little less value. But if they're weak to fire, the burst is still extremely quick. So I'm going to try to showcase that for you as well. Oh, we run up to him, use all of our skills, put our debuffs on him, kind of just wait a bit, and he's bursted. So as you can see, that's only about a second slower than my absolute best. My best was actually with this same team. Yeah, if they have a spawn animation or they are weak to fire, this makes this basically trivial. Now this exact same setup will work inside of Sector 5 as well, but Escanor is actually a much better pair than Melee for Sector 5. But I can go ahead and showcase the bursting part of it. So for some reason when you taunt this guy in particular, his animations kind of break, so just make sure you let him dash at you first and then do it. As you can see, he's bursted in pretty much like 8 seconds. Then you just go ahead and do your damage, but like I said, melee doesn't really shine here. It's kind of a pain. But one thing I did want to show is how well does it perform against things that are not weak to fire, like completely resistant, or in her case, completely neutral. I've actually never even tested this myself on someone like ORGOT, so we're just going to see here live if it's even viable or not. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty solid. It's not really great, but like, that's still almost faster than... Well, that probably is faster than Dian. Oh. Dian's technically the best burster for this boss. So I guess on things that aren't even weak to fire, it still kind of works pretty well. Once she gets a burster outfit, like I've said previously, very hopeful for how she performs. That's basically all I had to show off in this video. It's probably going to be a quicker one because unfortunately there's just not much content in the game right now after they remove the dungeons. My next video is going to be with a P6 Merlin and a P3 Daisy. I'm going to be doing a full raid clear in about 20 minutes. It's going to be like a free-to-play sort of video. I think it's really important to showcase a sort of free-to-play style with an optimized setup from someone who knows what they're doing. And hopefully I could convince you guys to not give up on doing certain things because you don't have the right potential. It is an absolute fact that you can solo clear everything in this game with a P6 melee or a P6 lightning Merlin. I mean, for the raid in particular, people have done it with a P4 ice Merlin. So just keep striving to improve your builds, and I promise things will work out. And always stay informed on what the best setups could be. Anyways, that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.